Yo, what's poppin' guys, Sizzyl here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Super Mario Odyssey. Now before the review actually starts, I just want to say that I have around 130 hours of total playtime for this game, and while I don't have nostalgia for this game, I do have some nostalgia for its quote-unquote spiritual predecessor, Super Mario Galaxy 2, so that might impact this review. Without further ado, on to the review. Mario has always been known for his extremely fun and smooth movement. Even from the earliest days in Super Mario Bros. 1, Mario's movement was really the best you could get in any sort of video game. And ever since his debut to 3D, Mario has really just taken that and just set it to a whole new level. Whether they're linear or open world games, you always feel like you have full control over Mario, and you can basically do anything or go anywhere that you can think of, because he has such an expansive moveset that keeps getting refined more and more with every game release. Super Mario Odyssey is no exception to this. This game genuinely has some of the most fluid movement I think I've ever seen in any video game. You have an insane amount of movement options such as rolls, dive, jumps, long jumps, walking, running, crouching, but those are all returning from past games. But most importantly, this game has cap jumps. This game really steps above all the other Mario games in terms of movement just from cap jumps alone. They give you an insane amount of height and distance, and when you combine it with how momentum works in this game, which is phenomenal by the way, you can do crazy stuff like this. This movement is so insanely fun and smooth that this game genuinely was the game that got me into speedrunning, because I wanted to play even more of it after beating it for the first time, just because of how good the movement was alone. And then you combine that with an insane open world where there's something to do basically everywhere, some beautiful visuals, especially for its time, and you have what I consider to be one of my favorite open world games at this current moment, simply from the movement and exploration alone. Now, some people have complained about some of the moons that are just sitting out there in the open waiting for you to collect them, but that isn't really that much of a problem when you have 836 individual power moons to collect if, let's say like 30 of them are just sort of sitting there. On top of that, there's just so much variety that it's just great. I mean, just look at all the different places this game has to offer. And just look how phenomenally they're presented. On top of this game has a ton of references and things brought back from older Mario games scattered throughout, which I, as a Nintendo and Mario fan, truly have appreciated. There's way too much to go over in this video, but my favorite one by far was in New Donk City, where for 2 of the power moons in a subsection, you replay all of World 1-1 from the first Mario game. There's also a ton of subsections on each level that are often pretty fun and challenging, or they're just really good puzzles, which are completely optional, but they're pretty fun to complete. You seriously feel like the whole experience is just your own experience, and it's pretty likely that the way that you play through Super Mario Odyssey the first time will be completely different yet equally satisfying as someone else's first playthrough. You can literally beat this entire game only battling the first boss in the game and Bowser if you actually wanted to, and it's really crazy how varied your first playthrough can be. On top of this, many of the insane spectacles like the New Donk City Festival and the insanely nice looking kingdoms across the board just add up to making this game a true masterpiece. Now, you probably didn't know this, but a big part of what makes video games so good to me is by far the music. And 3D Mario games have been known to have some of the best music with the soundtracks of Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Galaxy, and 3D Land, being things that I listen to at least once a week because of how great the music in those games actually were. This game definitely followed the trends of 3D Mario games having great music, But it's still not up to the level of those other 3D Mario games, but it's still phenomenal music. Every track for every world was deliberately designed with that world in mind, and the music itself just sounded great. My personal favorite track for this game would definitely have to be the Wooded Kingdom music. I mean, just listen to this, it's an actual bop. On top of all this phenomenal level design, movement, and sound design, there's one extra thing that ties it all together that makes this game so phenomenal. And that extra thing would be the fact that you can use that cap not only for cap jumps, but to capture enemies. This adds so much variety to an already super fun and open world game. Capturing an enemy allows you to control their movement and use their abilities. Basically, anything you can see can be captured and controlled by you to accomplish basically whatever you want. You can control a human and then race an RC car by controlling the human being. You can control basic enemies like Goombas, which you can stack into towers to reach high up places. You can control a tank that can blow up some breakable blocks, or just a guy can stretch his legs to reach high up places as well. And even a motherfucking dinosaur just to break through rocks and enemies and jump off massive trampolines. And yeah, it's just phenomenal. This game also got free DLC with a little hide and seek minigame where Luigi has you hide balloons for other people to find with a time limit, and it's definitely pretty fun. This game seriously has a ton of stuff to do, and while you can technically beat this game in around 2 to 3 hours for your first time, if you choose not to really explore or collect as many moons as you want, if you actually try to do everything that this game has to offer for the first time, it'll probably take you around 14 to 16 hours if you played a game before, or up to even, I've seen 24 hours of straight gameplay for people who have barely played video games before, to do everything once. And when everything's so insanely fun and varied, you're bound to end up loving this game. Overall, this game's extremely fun and enjoyable, and it's a game that I'm bound to continue replaying time and time again. I definitely recommend that you buy this game if you haven't already, and for being such a beautiful, fun, and crazy experience, I personally give Super Mario Odyssey a 92 out of 100, and it rightfully takes the #1 spot on my current list of reviewed games. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to check out my other videos, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to see the list of my current reviewed games, that will be in the description.